Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nadine Samisya. I am a Shumka alumnus, Shumka mom, a donor, a board director, and a proud member with distinction. And I'm pleased to welcome you to Shumka's 60th anniversary virtual gala.
And I'm Lukian Oper, Shumka alumnus, Shumka school parent, donor, and board director. Nadine and I look forward to being your MCs as we come together virtually to celebrate the milestones of this historic cultural performing arts institution, proudly known as Shumka.
While the COVID-19 pandemic and changing health restrictions have prevented us from gathering in person, we're going to make the most of our time together. Tonight, we will salute the past, recognize Shumka's new award recipients, honoring those who have been integral to Shumka's 6 decades of success, and toast to the future of the whirlwind.
We invite you to interact with us tonight on social media by using the hashtag Shumka60 to tag and upload your comments or share your favorite photos from the last 60 years. The chat line will be monitored, and we look forward to hearing from you throughout the program.
We hope you took advantage of ordering the amazing pre-show meal available through Taste of Ukraine. Thank you to alumnus Odarka Wozniak and Natalka Sorkin, part owners of Taste of Ukraine, for generously donating 20% of all gala meal proceeds to Shumka. To start the program off this evening, we have some anniversary greetings from the City of Edmonton and Province of Alberta. To present these remarks, Shumka's current board chair, Shumka donor, alumnus, and member with distinction, Dorianne Martinuc.
Thank you, Nadine, and good evening, everyone. I am honored to share these greetings with you all. Message from His Worship, Mayor Don Iveson. On behalf of City Council and the people of Edmonton, welcome to the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers' 60th anniversary gala celebration. Shumka created a thriving community that celebrates our city's rich Ukrainian heritage and has drawn together generations of dancers, creators, builders, and supporters. Ukrainian immigrants and their descendants have been instrumental in building our city and province, creating a vibrant and accomplished cultural community that is still thriving today. This annual gala showcases the beauty, energy, and vitality Shumka continues to bring to Edmonton. I thank the Ukrainian Shumka dancers and the volunteers, supporters, and sponsors who worked to make this year's online event a success. Your efforts to celebrate Ukrainian customs and heritage helps keep the traditions alive for future generations and makes Edmonton a more vibrant, culturally diverse city. Best wishes for a fun and lively virtual gala celebration. Yours truly, Don Iveson, Mayor. Message from the Honorable Leela Sharon Ahir, Minister of Culture, Multiculturalism, and Status of Women. As Minister of Culture, Multiculturalism, and Status of Women, it is my pleasure to send my best wishes for the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers' 60th anniversary celebration. The Shumka Dancers are practically a household name in Alberta. For 60 years, Albertans have grown up watching the dancers perform at festivals and events, mesmerized by the swirling colors and feats of athleticism. Shumka's fame has spread far beyond the borders of our province. Shumka has made Alberta proud with international tours, performances for dignitaries and royalty, and even performances at international film festivals with the documentary Dancing on Eggshells, the Making of Ancestors and Elders. Shumka families, as they're known, carry on through multiple generations of dancers, volunteers, and donors. Every person who has given their time and energy to the company over the years has become a part of this legacy. On behalf of the Government of Alberta, thank you for preserving and celebrating Ukrainian culture. I look forward to seeing what Shumka will achieve in the decades to come. Leela Sharon Ahir.
Thank you, Dorianne. And now, what would a Shumka event be without dance? Tonight we have dance from each decade of Shumka's artistic journey. We're excited to share with you this retrospective compilation of the changing patterns of the whirlwind, produced by River Ford Productions.
So here's my confession. I have been obsessed for years with the Shumka dancers. I think it's because I can't dance. I mean, sure, back in the 1980s, you might have seen me on the dance floor at Scandals or Flashbacks or Goose Loonies, but I can't dance. Not the way you guys can dance. The energy, the power, the speed, the grace, the joy. The exhilarating mixture of beauty and athletic power. I have never watched a Shumka show without feeling myself swept away by the passion and the precision. As a kid, when I watched the Shumka girls twirl and the Shumka boys leap, I desperately wanted to be on the stage with them, my 2 left feet and all. But my friends, this is as close as I'm ever going to be to being on a Shumka stage. So I wanted to take the moment to congratulate my favorite dance company on its remarkable evolution from local folk troupe to internationally acclaimed dance theater artists. When Shumka started, of course, in the midst of the Cold War, part of its motivation was to preserve Ukrainian culture in an era when the Soviet Union was doing its best to crush and erase Ukrainian heritage and history. And you succeeded brilliantly in both your political and artistic missions in protecting and reinvigorating traditional folk dance. But over the decades, your choreographers and composers and directors and dancers have also created a new, original, and authentically Western Canadian form of dance theater. Cross-pollinating and infusing traditional idioms with everything from classical ballet to modern to indigenous dance. You haven't just been international ambassadors for Alberta. Your multicultural company has told Albertans their own stories in a dance language you've created, one that is utterly unique to this place and to your company. So yes, let's celebrate your achievements as loving, careful custodians of an enduring Eastern European art form. But more than that, let's celebrate the bold, experimental brilliance of Shumka circa 2021, dancing circles, literally, around us all.
Thank you to Les Sarita from Riverford Productions for creating that remarkable montage. The energy, passion, and dedication to dance throughout the eras hasn't changed.
One thing that certainly has changed throughout the years are the costumes. The evolution of Shumka's costuming has grown immensely, from the humble beginnings of dancers learning to make their own postelet and having mums, aunties, and grandmothers embroidering vyshyvanki, to purchasing custom-designed and constructed costumes from Ukraine's top theatrical designers.
Along the way, Shumka has been blessed to have a number of costumers who have helped shape its wardrobe journey, from expanding regional costumes beyond central Ukraine and Hutzulshina to mending rips and tears during a performance. These talented people cheered us on, never seemed to need sleep on tour, magically removed red lipstick from vyshyvanki, kept our costumes smelling fresh, and yes, they even baked cookies for dancers. They were so much more than costume ladies. They became our Shumka moms.
Form, fit, and function. You know, it isn't just the design. What good is a design if it doesn't emphasize the body and stay at the pace, the hectic pace of our dance art form?
It's required. I mean, look at the colors and the extravagance. And one of the stage managers that I hired one year, he said, "This is Ukrainian circus." He said, "This is great." He said, "Look at the ribbons flying, look in the costumes." It's essential.
Because it's the final part of it. Without a costume, the dancing isn't what it is.
Volunteers with Shumka and Wardrobe started during my time 42 years ago. And the first ones that are always missed are the moms and the babas. They embroidered those costumes, they put them together, and for every hopak that was performed over all these 60 years, there was always a mom, a baba, and in more recent years, the dancers themselves. So they are the first folks that need to get the costume reward.
Everybody was responsible for their own costume. You got your mom to make it for you, your grandma, or you found somebody else and you hired them to finish up your embroidery or do whatever you needed to do. Everybody contributed a lot. People contributed choreography, they contributed ideas. Everybody worked together really well. Very impressive.
The moms and our internal network of people, they have always been the glue that bridged artistry to the function. And I think more than ever that principle continues. And we should applaud them time and time again because they are the safety net of our art form. Well, my tenure was Mrs. Chanasik. She was my second mom when I moved to Edmonton, fed me, and gave me guidance when I needed it. To fully understand her contribution, you have to understand where Shumka was at that time. In those early days, historically, we have solidified our storyline approach. We were doing 2 basic regions in that approach, Huculshchina and Poltava. So all of a sudden, as we evolved as a company, there was this need to broaden our scope of regional representation. Well, guess who was saddled with that challenge? Mrs. C. So it was academic research, looking at, books, trying to figure out how that would work, how would we accomplish that volume of costuming. And throughout it all, Mrs. C had this unbounded excitement and attention to detail. It was a constant dedication to the art. So thank you, Mrs. C.
Starting with Honey Howell, I don't know if I would still be doing this without her, to be honest. She kind of helped me learn how to sew. I was very basic, and I went from just basic stitching to being able to hem pants and things like that, and just learning about all of the Ukrainian aspect stuff to the dancing and everything like that. And her organization is just amazing.
I did 3 tours to China. You need to realize that you have 508 costumes. How do I know this? I looked up the manifest before I came in here. Okay, so you're on tour, you have 2 costume people. You have Joyce Howell and my wife Kathy. You're doing 14 cities, 20 shows in 20-some days. It's 25 degrees outside. Costumes are wet when they come off stage. So costumes come off, you have huge fans blowing them dry, they have to be packed up. You have Joyce and Kathy with bathtubs full of water and soap, laundering costumes in a bathtub, hanging them up around the hotel rooms, hanging them down the hallways, and making sure they're dried with the fans and ready to go that night. So that's just the critical thing about costuming on tour.
It's just great working with all of the ladies over the years, and I had a number at one point. I think it was about 13, 14, but there was certainly a group, and we still try to get together because we spent so much time in that room working away and traveling together, some of us, over the years. So yeah, it was close to 20 years, so we did well.
I have a great crew that I work with right now. We haven't been able to work very much right now. And it was all volunteer moms, right? So they're all there. If I need them, they're like, email me. We will be there. Gets a little crowded sometimes, but they always have my back, and it's great. I can't thank them enough. I don't have the words to say thank you. I really don't. They're beautiful souls, and I can't do it without them.
Good evening, everyone. I am Les Sarita, alumnist, member with distinction, donor, and senior creative director of Shumka. As I look at all the work done by choreographers, designers, dancers, and costume moms over the years, I marvel at the artistry that has gathered in magical ways to create Shumka's art. And I look at how many of our lives are so influenced by our time with Shumka. But where does Shumka come from? I don't mean the company, I mean the name that has become an international brand. How many times have you heard Ukrainian dance referred to as Shumka dancing, or red boots called Shumka boots? What a phenomenon that is. You can't get a stronger brand than that. Truly. I have a short story to tell you this evening, and I thought we should all know it. When Chester Coots formed Shumka in 1959, there were a number of talented and determined youth who banded with Chester and helped create this company that came from the church basement to the Jubilee Auditorium. One of those talented people was Luba Stangret, now Luba Manley. Luba was a dancer and credited as Chester's assistant in various programs and newspaper articles. She was also a talented singer. 66 years ago, a traveling composer and performer named Professor Michael Barbarouk of Saskatchewan visited Luba's family home in Carville, just west of Edmonton. He presented Luba and her sister Oksana with music charts called Ukrainska Shumka, which he had wrote and given them for St. Nicholas Day. They enjoyed the music very much, and it always held a special place in Luba's heart. About 6 years later, one evening after dance rehearsal, some of the dancers were having coffee at the Casino Cafe in North Edmonton. Luba was there on this historic night, as were founder Chester Coutts and dancers Zoria Letwin and Leo Zaluki. They discussed what they would name this new group, and Luba suggested Shumka, based on the sheet music she was gifted years earlier. Shumka loosely means whirlwind. A whirlwind is a combination of many great factors that work together to create an unpredictable and lively force. A fitting description of Shumka, indeed. During the countdown to the live stream tonight, you were listening to the original piece done on piano by Irina Taranowski. It is lyrical and lively and brings to mind folk characters and folkloric instruments. It has so much potential. As a tribute to this piece of music, to which we owe our name, and to alumnist Luba Manley, Shumka has committed to having Ukrainska Shumka fully orchestrated and recorded in Ukraine, to be used in an upcoming new work. I am filled full of thankfulness for this legacy piece and excitement to breathe into it the life it so deserves.
Shumka alumnist and honorary member Dennis Elko has been known to say, "Ask not what Shumka can do for you, ask what you can do for Shumka." As you know, this is a philosophy that has brought Shumka much dedication, loyalty, and success that has benefited tens of thousands, from youth in the studio, to dancers on stage, to audiences around the world. Every Shumka dancer gives so much of themselves to this organization, but some give more. And we are thankful to each of them for sharing their unique talents, artistically, administratively, and often both.
On major anniversary years, Shumka has honored those members who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. Without these special people, the group would not have achieved the level of success it has over the decades. The process to choose these special honorees is a thorough and thoughtful one. For the 60th anniversary celebrations, it began as a special project of the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Alumni Association in 2018, with the establishment of a chair of the awards committee. With suggestions of names procured by the Alumni Association, the awards committee was formed of 13 members, including alumni from all decades of the company's lifetime and current dancing members as well.
2 years later, and after countless hours of planning, rubric reviews, and deliberations by the committee, these selections were presented to the Alumni Association for discussion and approval, and finally, to Shumka's Board of Directors for ratification. Their names then sat in a vault for over a year. This evening, and after 2 rescheduled celebration events, we are so very pleased to recognize these achievements. To present the 60th Anniversary Awards, please welcome Shumka Honorary Lifetime Member and the Chair of the 60th Anniversary Awards Committee, Aldika Simpson.
I am honored to be here today representing the awards committee that was struck back in the fall of 2018. I am grateful to every committee member who joined me in this very long, reflective, and often emotional journey. Thank you to all who were involved in receiving, reviewing, re-reviewing, discussing, deliberating, and making recommendations on 23 nominations for 21 candidates. To honor those who have not been Shumka dancers, but still have been integral to Shumka's development and progress over time, the Awards Committee and Shumka Board established a new level of awards, the Spirit of Shumka Award. The recipients of this category may never have attempted a prisiadka or a pirouette. They may never have Shumka'd on stage before a show, and their service may have been provided completely outside of the studio walls. Yet I guarantee that they have all provided a dedicated spirit to Shumka over many years and through various expressions of commitment. It is my pleasure to introduce you to these winners tonight. From humble beginnings in small-town Alberta to big international stages, from the local fabric stores choosing just the right materials to numerous prototypes designed and redesigned in her kitchen, From sewing thousands upon thousands of pieces to standardizing individual Poltava and Hutzel costumes, from cleaning and maintaining those costumes to creating an inventory and labeling process that laid the foundation for the system still used today. All were done under the creative and dedicated care of Elsie Chanasik. I read once that the wardrobe is always the last piece of the puzzle. When you step into the clothing, that's the final step to figuring out your character. Mrs. Chanasik's work with Shumka spanned over 15 years and 4 national and international tours, and helped to create some of the company's most memorable characters indeed. Her respect and love for the people of Shumka have made Elsie Chanasik an icon in our history, respected and loved by all in return. It is my distinct pleasure to present with big gratitude our very first Spirit of Shumka Award to Elsie Chanasik, our beloved Mrs. C. An impeccable eye for detail, high expectations of herself, her team, and the dancers themselves. Extreme pride in how the company looked in every single performance, whether at Barb and Ernie's restaurant, the Kiev Opera House, or the Jubilee Auditorium. All of these were qualities that Joyce Howell brought to her role as head of wardrobe for Shumka, Shumka School, and Clara's Dreams Productions. Joyce acted sometimes as seamstress and organizer extraordinaire, sometimes as liaison between costume brokers in Canada and Ukraine, sometimes as teacher of Ukrainian crafts, language, cooking, or sewing to summer camp students. But always, Joyce acted with an inspiring dedication to perfection. It has been said that your wardrobe should complement your skill set, never detract or distract from your assets. Mrs. Howell's contributions indeed complemented Shumka in every possible way, and it is with big thanks for all that she has given to Shumka over the past 2 decades that I present this Spirit of Shumka Award to Mrs. Joyce Howell. This next award goes to one of the kindest, most genuine people I know. Her contributions to Shumka began at the level of Shumka School as the mother of 3 young boys who would all, in time, become members of the parent company. It has been said, and has been my experience as an entrepreneur, that a business isn't run by the boss, but rather by the talent sitting at the front desk. And in Shumka, it is no different. At our front desk sits Mrs. June Eels. Her official title is Programs and Outreach Administrator, but she truly is so much more. She knows everyone's names, from students to parents to dancers themselves. She spearheaded the creation of the Seniors Can Shumka program. She sits on all of the Shumka School committees, even if they aren't in her job description. And she has co-chaired dance school fundraising endeavors. She works 6 days a week during the dance school season and is involved in all outreach activities of the company, such as the Shumka Matinee, that reaches thousands of children province-wide, and the Shumka Whirlwind Dance Discovery Tours in Edmonton and area schools. Over and over, June has gone beyond what we could ever put into her job description. Any dancer, parent, or staff member who has had the opportunity to work alongside of June will know that Shumka has a special place in her heart. And in presenting the Spirit of Shumka Award to Mrs. June Eels, I want to tell her that without a doubt, she too has a special place in our hearts. Members with distinction are individuals whose contributions to Shumka have been considerable, while they were active dancing members and or subsequent to their time in the studio. They have demonstrated ongoing support to one or more facets of the Shumka company, whether in administrative, artistic, dance school, or other areas of contribution. There are nearly 500 individuals who have had the privilege of being Shumka dancers in their lifetime, and only 27 to date have been honored with a membership with distinction. Tonight, we welcome 9 more individuals to this esteemed group who have shown contributions to major developments and the advancement of Shumka and an ongoing support of the company. Here are our honorees. Folkloric encyclopedia, humble team player, relationship builder, passionate advocate for Shumka and Ukrainian folk dance. Just a few ways to describe our recipient, who has been a creative force in Shumka and a consistent calming presence within the studio for over a decade. Paul Olenek has a talent for creating choreography with an attention to authenticity, innovation, and detail, as demonstrated in his contributions to productions such as Kobzad, Mosquito's Wedding, and Ancestors and Elders, while growing into the senior leadership position of creative director that he holds today. Paul's status as a master instructor and mentor is well established across Canada. He is passionate about teaching future generations of dancers and is heavily involved with the Shumka School, where he has deeply influenced hundreds of students, while also guiding and inspiring an entire generation of dance instructors as well. As a health and wellness advocate, Paul has promoted a greater focus in Shumka for developing a more holistic approach to dancer health. He played a pivotal role in establishing the Wellness Committee, and dancer well-being and self-care have become a priority in the studio under his watchful, nurturing eye. Paul has dedicated countless hours and exceeded expectations on countless occasions. He is highly respected within the studio. Some have told me that he is the reason people stay. With the notable ability to cultivate connections, lead by example, and remain loyal to his convictions while staying humble throughout the artistic process, Paul has given completely of himself, and Shumka is better for it. I am very proud to award this membership with distinction to Mr. Paul Olenek. As was noted in the nomination for our next recipient, she is a weaver of 1,000 opportunities, sharing her talent for dance along with her wicked organizational and motivational skills. Over and over, she has used these skills to create, envision, streamline, connect, and let's be honest, just get stuff done. During her dancing years, Karina Crockett-Dooley served on the dancer-led executive for 3 years, first as Personnel and Company Affairs Director, and then as Vice President during a turbulent time when income sources and performance opportunities had dwindled. Karina worked on the original committee, charged with the creation of Shumka's first webpage, and she assisted in the company's introduction to the online world. She served on the Standards Committee for 2 years and on the USD Foundation Board for 5 consecutive terms. Karina's work with Shumka School included major contributions to dance camp programming and branding, as a senior beloved instructor over many years, and as an integral team member of the SSD syllabus development, where she provided considerable administrative, logistical, and completely volunteer support to the immense, all-consuming project. In her retirement, and even across continents, Karina has been actively involved in the USD Alumni, where she often joined in meetings from overseas before Zoom was even a thing. She spent the past 7 years as its president, and when the USDAA ceased operations in 2020, Karina worked diligently to ensure that the USD Board of Directors understood all of the ways that the alumni have supported the parent organization and remain an integral piece of the organization despite the loss of official society status. Karina's contributions are not often shiny. They don't get recognized on the big stage or in a program or on marketing materials. But as students, we were inspired. As campers, we were enthused. As dancers, we were motivated to get involved. As alumni, we are connected. And as an organization, we are left grateful. It is my honor to present this membership with distinction to Mrs. Karina Crockett-Dooley. In April 2018, Shumka premiered a piece of choreography that gave voice to the stories and connections that were lost long ago, bringing to the forefront the stories of 2 cultures, Ukrainian Canadians and the First Nations peoples, and allowed dancers, artists, and audience members an opportunity to explore the shared values and respected differences between the two. Our next membership with distinction recipient co-directed Ancestors and Elders, cast the main roles, co-wrote the story, contributed choreography, and simply was all in to the production. Joseph Hoffman took the concept and researched it extensively on a practical and deeply emotional level. Joe was integral to the success of bringing the 2 communities together and truly helped forge strong connections between Shumka and the Indigenous community as represented by Running Thunder dancers. Further to Ancestors and Elders, Joe was instrumental in the development of Shumka's Wellness Committee, the Seniors Can Shumka programming, and in the Whirlwind Dance Discovery outreach tours in Edmonton and area schools. Joe collaborated and contributed in many ways to Mosquito's Wedding and Caravan Cabaret, and through his time held several lead roles in various productions, showing his strength and versatility as a character dancer time and again. As much as he will be remembered as the co-director of A&E, I would be remiss to not include some details about Joe the person. Perhaps we can understand his character best when we consider that Joe's ultimate goal in Shumka was to create a neutral, safe space for everyone. He created a positive, respectful, judgment-free environment where all dancers could learn, contribute, and collaborate. And he advocated passionately for more equal, kinder treatment of probationary members. Joe lived these values fully, and many have noted how integral that kind of leadership was to their growth and time in the company. I am pleased to present this membership with distinction to Mr. Joe Hoffman. Our next membership with distinction recipient is one of those members with contributions to nearly every facet of the organization. And I say nearly because as a current dancing member, she simply hasn't hit alumni status yet. With over 15 years of dedicated service in the company, Alyssa Eugenio has built an impressive resume. She possesses incredible administrative skills, honed most recently in her work as artistic coordinator and dancer representative on the artistic committee, where she is charged with many day-to-day tasks such as casting, scheduling rehearsals, coordinating with wardrobe, organizing auditions, compiling and communicating all performance details, updating the company app, and contributing to the resolution of standards issues when artistic input is requested. Alyssa lends her time and her ideas to media, promotional shows, and to the creation of Shumka Whirlwind Dance Discovery Tour performances in Edmonton and area schools. Alyssa has contributed conceptually, artistically, and choreographically to a large number of productions, including the Cinderella Tour to Ukraine and China, to the Shumka at 50 Anniversary Concert, Clara's Dream, Shumka's Nutcracker, Ancestors and Elders, and Mosquito's Wedding. Alyssa has proven her teaching and leadership skills, not only in the day-to-day runnings of the company, but in her 14 years as instructor at Shumka School, and in her newer role as director of Studia Shumka, the junior ensemble that bridges the SSD and Shumka itself. Her plethora of experience in all areas has made Alyssa a most valuable resource in Shumka, one of the constants in an ever-changing company. She is unwavering in her commitment to the artistic team, to Shumka School and Studia, and to her own pursuit of excellence as one of the strongest and most versatile female dancers in the company. I am pleased to present this membership with distinction to Miss Alyssa Eugenio. Dance as a collaborative art involves the painstaking grind of ongoing dedication, training, precision, interpretation, reinterpretation, balanced critique, gentle, earnest discourse, growth, discovery, and eventually what goes on stage, beauty. As artists, we know that the culmination point is not necessarily what we expect it to be at the outset. But those who have walked the road enough times know that it can only be reached by taking the right steps, humbly, gracefully, and together. Our next recipient embodies this process as well as anyone I know. Tasha Odesiuk possesses a remarkable talent when it comes to dance creation. Her extensive choreographic contributions to Shumka include pieces in Cinderella, Mosquito's Wedding, Tejmene, Halia, Kolameka with Ruslana, Harvest Angels, and Ancestors and Elders. When Tasha accepted the role of creative director in 2018, she worked tirelessly to create a new culture within Shumka, one of discipline, consistency, and deep respect among all dancers. She is determined to keep the artistic process organized and on track, and has visibly raised the bar for a new standard of technical excellence, always pushing those around her to be their best. Tasha is the longest serving instructor at the Shumka School, having joined the team when I was the Shumka School director 25 years ago. She held the position of SSD principal for 2 years herself and has mentored and nurtured countless dancers and instructors. Tasha has been involved with the Shumka dance syllabus almost since the beginning, developing a classical ballet manual to accompany the syllabus, annotating and recording every single exercise, of which I'd guess there's about 200, and creating the school's pre-beginner and beginner programs. She is the current instructor of the Seniors Kin Shumka and Silver Swans programs, and contributor to the Whirlwind Dance Discovery field trips for elementary-aged children throughout Edmonton and area schools. She has been one of Shumka's most talented dancers, holding deep respect for what the body can do, and exhibiting boundless energy to make magic happen. She's a prolific, creative force who stands behind the quality of every product she puts on stage. She is a courageous leader, a unique talent in the Shumka family, and a fiercely loyal friend. I am so pleased to present this membership with distinction to Mrs. Tasha Oresiuk. Our next recipient this evening was a dancing member for only 5 years, but as you will hear, to date has contributed for nearly 30. During his dancing time, he volunteered on many committees and was a 3-term board member on the Dancer-led Executive. Once retired, he served on the Alumni Association, including a term as its president, and volunteered as merchandise assistant during the Absolutely Shumka and Cinderella Canadian tours. He has coordinated fundraising campaigns for both Shumka and Shumka School, has served on the Gala committees since 2014, assisted with costume, props, and transportation for Shumka shows, and has been an integral behind-the-scenes guy for all of the company's major productions since 2016. He has been a translator and a liaison between Shumka artists and those in Ukraine. He has handled all the translations of playbills, marketing, and social media posts. He has been invaluable as an interpreter during business sponsorship and artistic meetings in Ukraine, notably in 2018 and 2019. Perhaps his most visible contribution is his volunteer role as project manager for the Shumka Dance Center. He oversaw the complete renovation of a 14,000 square foot warehouse into the fully functional dance facility we call home today, with storage, professional meeting space, offices, wardrobe, lobby, and studios. One might say he literally built the home where Shumka lives. He continues his role as facility manager as a volunteer, overseeing security, maintenance, liaising with everyone, from the landlord to the custodians to the HVAC providers. He is a friend to all in the Shumka School, Shumka itself, the production team, and to all of the creative collaborators in Ukraine. Through it all, he upholds the motto, work hard, play hard, and he is always ready to help clean up after a cast party, to investigate security alarms at the studio at 3 a.m., to support production emergencies with his ever-ready bar and a suitcase, and his smile truly makes everyone in the Shumka family feel welcome and seen. I am pleased to present this membership with distinction to Mr. Wally Tarnowski. Our next recipient boasts a vast blend of artistic and administrative contributions, yet he is anything but boastful. From the front of the studio to Campo Celia to the smoky bingo halls of old, Murray Howell was an unassuming leader in Shumka for over 15 years. It is said that leaders inspire others by evoking feelings in their followers. And as an artistic leader in Shumka, Murray Howell knew how to push dancers and instigate progress while remaining highly encouraging and supportive of their growth. He helped others find within themselves an intrinsic desire to continually improve. Murray often set the pace in the studio, remaining focused on concrete goals that were set for him, the artistic team, and the dancers. He led with a sharp sense of humor, and helping the company reach its goals while keeping the rehearsal room light was indeed his superpower. Murray contributed administratively on the Dancer-led Executive as merchandise director and media and website director, along with 8 glorious years as Shumka's last bingo director. He was so committed to that position that he even sat on the Riviera Bingo Association board to help pursue and protect Shumka's financial interests during those 8 years. Murray then devoted 7 years to the USD Foundation, including 3 terms as its president, where he collaborated with other board members on contracts for all HR positions, touring and producer contracts, and budgeting for the organization. Murray was a senior instructor at Shumka School for over a decade and has long been an avid supporter of Shumka School summer dance camps, for which he held the roles as counselor, instructor, and director for many years. Murray teaches dance throughout urban and rural Alberta, where his dedication to his students is obvious, and where his reach into these communities has been integral to the recruitment of new dancers to summer camp and to Shumka itself over many years. He is a much respected member of the greater Ukrainian dance community, and I am pleased to present this membership with distinction to Mr. Murray Howell. Our next award is presented to an individual who has supported many facets of Shumka, wielding an impressive combination of both artistic and administrative contributions not often seen. Trinity Chopik spent 4 years on the artistic committee, providing whatever support was needed to the artistic director and productions, from artistic lead to wedding hopoks, company rehearsals and auditions, casting and setting, and the all-important but often forgotten mentoring of probationary members. many of whom have noted that her friendly approach was a perfect mix to her toughness and her high expectations of all in the studio. Trinity was an instructor at Shumka School for nearly a decade, having moved up through the ranks of the school herself, and she has proven to be a favorite of the students every single year. In addition, she has also provided extensive support administratively, first on the old dancer-led executive for 7 years, the Standards Committee for 4, and most recently and currently, she holds the title of Shumka's Wardrobe Director since 2015. This is a demanding position, not the least of which is maintaining a growing inventory of over 1,500 costumes, including the creation of a detailed log of washing instructions, storage location, and photos of every single set. Trinity works with the artistic team to coordinate the costume needs and fittings for every show. She has participated in costume design and creation. She has weighed costumes as per international travel requirements, provided designs and organizational requests for the new costume room and storage areas, and Trinity was integral to a seamless transition to the current Shumka facility. It was noted that every aspect of Trinity's involvement, from dancer, wardrobe, artistic lead, teacher, committee member, mentor, and friend, came from her perspective that Shumka is a family, and family is for life. It is my pleasure to award this membership with distinction to Miss Trinity Chopik. Our final award recipient this evening is that person who smiles broadly after he says the word Shumka. I have never known him to express it otherwise. A Shumka dancer for 15 years, he stood out on stage for his golden charivari and his robust depictions of characters such as the young prodigy in Shumake, a lead dancer in Night of Perun, and the love interest of Katrusia, the blacksmith's daughter. When not performing, he led by his example of holding only the highest expectations of both himself and all Shumka members. There is a reason that Evan Zakuski was the feature soloist on the 1995 Absolutely Shumka tour poster. While still dancing, as well as being a member of several committees, Evan served for 5 years on the dancer-led Shumka executive as the assistant treasurer, and props and costumes director. Currently, as an alumnus, he continues to dedicate his time and expertise with an impressive resume that includes having served on the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Foundation for 4 terms, first as a director and ultimately as its president. After the conclusion of his presidency, Evan assisted with the company's administrative restructuring from the USDF into the new Shumka Board of Directors, and most recently served as chair of that board of directors for the past 4 years. During his time on both boards, Evan was challenged with several crucial administrative crises that were not publicly known. It was his patience, his clarity of understanding, and his acute sense of responsibility that helped him manage these delicate situations in a purposely private and effective manner. More recently, managing the challenges of the current pandemic, which included several closings and reopenings of the studio, serious financial shortages, and the repeated postponement of the intended 60th anniversary tour, were also accomplished under his nurturing leadership. Evan has always been acutely aware that all Shumka members before him laid a path for his own success. He has often spoken about the legacy that we were left with and with the legacy we need to uphold in all of our endeavors as members of the Shumka family. With nearly 35 years of dedicated service to the company, Evan himself has become a member of Shumka's storied past and remains an integral part of Shumka's future, someone whom current dancers can look to when they speak of the legacy of Shumka that has been left to them. It is my honor to present this membership with distinction to Mr. Evan Zakuski.
Congratulations to all of the award recipients. Be sure to visit shumka.com after tonight's event for a new website page dedicated to profiles of each of our honorees. Shumka's vision is to express the human experience through the lens of an ever-evolving Canadian-Ukrainian dance form. Shumka exists to present, promote, preserve, develop, and share Canadian-Ukrainian inspired dance as a community leader. Thanks to the incredible contributions of all of our honorees, Shumka continues to achieve its mission by creating programs relevant for today's audiences, creating a center of excellence in dance education, creating opportunities to engage with other artists and communities, and creating an environment of collaboration, community, and leadership. On behalf of 60 years of Shumka dancers, I extend most sincere congratulations to all honorees tonight. Each of you has made a unique contribution to Shumka and are so deserving of this recognition. Bravo.
Speaking of contributions, like all nonprofit charitable arts organizations, Shumka relies on contributions, from large corporate donations to annual government operating grants. Financial contributions add to our earned revenues to help us fulfill our vision, mission, and mandate. Recently, you have seen the Shumka Gems donation campaign, highlighting those Shumka Gems who give every month. When the campaign began in February of this year, we started with 12 gems. We are now up to a remarkable 28 monthly donors, and we can't thank you enough. From alumni to staff, company members to Shumka school instructors, outreach participants to audience members, these gems each give for their own reasons, but almost all of them refer to giving back to an entity that has given so much to them. Shumka has brought us to new lands and world stages, given us creative opportunities, introduced us to our lifelong friends, and for some of us, our lifelong partners, and given us so much love. Being a Shumka Gem means recognizing that and giving back.
Tonight is the conclusion of a focused Shumka Gem campaign. If you haven't had the chance to visit the Shumka website and sign up to be a monthly donor, we encourage you to do so this evening. We will continue to keep the monthly giving option open well into the future, and we thank you for your consideration and ongoing support, especially in these uncertain times.
Fund development, which contributes to sustainability, is key to Shumka's financial future. To mark the 60th anniversary of the Ukrainian Shumka dancers, an endowment fund through the Edmonton Community Foundation was established in 2020. Sustaining the legacy of Shumka, the fund has been deemed the Shumka Whirlwind Endowment Fund.
An endowment is a pool of money that is invested, with investment returns provided to the charity to use for their operations. Donations are made into the fund, and they are then held and invested in the endowment forever, with only the returns being pulled for the organization's operations. In addition, contributions of the Whirlwind Endowment Fund will be partially matched annually by the Canadian Cultural Investment Fund through the Department of Canadian Heritage.
As stakeholders of Shumka, we invite you to consider leaving a bit of your own legacy with Shumka. You can see your funds make a difference by donating now or join our donors who have bequeathed funds to the endowment in their wills. It's up to all of us to keep this whirlwind going from 60 to 75 and beyond. If you are a current dancer, an alumnus, a family member of a dancer, or an audience member who has witnessed the magic of the whirlwind on stage, please consider what you can do to keep this magic alive. More than ever, this pandemic has stressed the need of sustainable funding for the company, as we have had to cancel performances, tours, and put a hold on programming. Your support can make all the difference to keep this national treasure alive and well for the next generations to come. More information is on the donate page of Shumka's website. We thank you for your consideration, and please reach out to someone at the Shumka office if you wish to have someone call you to further discuss.
An initial donation from the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Alumni Association is providing this legacy project a solid start. To make this milestone contribution to the Ukrainian Shumka dancers and its future, we are pleased to introduce former Alumni Association President Karina Crockett-Dooley.
A small but dedicated group of visionary alumnus met in 1984 following Shumka's 25th anniversary, determined to find a way to keep the spirit of Shumka alive in the hearts of the dancers long after they'd hung up their boots. With a mission to wholly support the Ukrainian Shumka dancers and a vision of a connected network of former dancers, I don't know that they ever imagined there would be over 500 of us today. Thanks to the vision of our founding members, many board members and volunteers, the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Alumni Association is so proud of our many projects, and you should be too. The Shumka stage gracing Edmonton's River Valley in Louise McKinney Park, the coveted Shumka Olympics, the milestone anniversary celebrations, the hardcover coffee table book. The recognition of honorary members, members with distinction, and Spirit of Shumka recipients. And of course, our heartfelt memorials to honor those that have passed on after they've danced among us. We have upheld the spirit of Shumka both within the community and within the organization. And as Shumka has evolved, so have we. The alumnus of the company will now be fully represented at the board level as a standing committee of the Ukrainian Shumka dancers. For me, it's a perfect circle. No longer does a dancer move from one group to another, but as they finish their dancing years, they remain connected and woven into the fabric of this organization that has endeared itself to all of our hearts. And with that, I am truly honored today to represent Shumka's alumni and to officially contribute to Shumka's endowment fund with this check for $10,000 presented to Jasmine and Alexander Taylor. These two Shumka school students represent the future of Shumka. As we close the official chapter of the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Alumni Association, we entrust these funds and we contribute to Shumka's endowment fund, knowing that this is a gift that will support the company, our company, in perpetuity. And that is a legacy that we can all be very proud of. Thank you.
What a beautiful legacy for Shumka's future. Thank you. At this time, we reflect on the past members of Shumka and Shumka supporters who are no longer with us, whose memories remain eternal as part of the history of Shumka. Builders, creators, dancers, supporters, whose spirit lives on with each beat of Hopak, whose stories inspire us to kick higher and spin faster in all that we do. The song has ended, but the melody lingers on. May their memories be eternal. Vichnaya Pamyat.
Staff några kort uval Chanel och din koroj spiewa Skaza Господь за нами імпонує І кожен кроє готував на Bezni shaslo zelelizia, izni mehet voyamia, beznyo kozen dokta becheluya. Azus molet va potekla dolonizu penelazia mohola bezvahate beseluya. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Du ksas ja zo khonishi khosomera kroboduya Bezlichle hioras hodiatia atu hehai ras hodiatia sit noshish vragovitne
Good evening. I am Mara Poloniak.
And I am Michael Eels.
And we are so proud to say we are Shumka dancers.
We are honored to represent the current company of dancers who have been Zooming in our basements, bedrooms, and backyards 3 times a week for the past 13 months. It's been an interesting journey and one that has built character, endurance, and an ultimate sense of belief in our future as Canadian-Ukrainian artists.
Being a company of dancers during COVID has brought us closer in different ways and has made us appreciate the simple things all the more, like being able to move freely in a studio space, to hug, to hoop chick together.
Sometimes it feels our careers may be passing by us, but at others we feel more inspired than ever before. Inspired and motivated to feel the energy and excitement of Shumka back on stages across Canada in the coming year. Although we have had to postpone the 60th anniversary tour due to COVID and reschedule it twice, we are now faithfully on Plan D.
It is our hope that Shumka 60 on Tour will be on the road in a city near you in the spring of 2022. As soon as we can safely and assuredly finalize a tour schedule, we will announce it from the rooftops. There are so many factors at play: recasting, ample lead time for regular full contact rehearsing, theater capacities and times of physical distancing, and how that affects budgets and bottom lines. If there was a lot of uncertainty to juggle in previous tour years, there's even more now.
On behalf of the current company of dancers, we thank each of you for your support, your donations, your positive vibes, and your love. Without you, there would be no us. We can't wait to share the magic of Shumka with you once again. And what magic that will be, knowing the Shumka legacy and its future is alive and well, and that the whirlwind is back.
Speaking of legacy, at this time we are honored to introduce Shumka Lifetime Honorary Member and one of Shumka's founders, the original Dreamers, to propose a toast to Shumka's future.
A dancer, a builder, a lifelong supporter, an inspiration, and a patriarch who surprises us backstage on occasion to the excitement of everyone in the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gerald Metrenetz.
Mistress of Ceremony Nadine Samitya, Master of Ceremonies Luke Oper, present 2021 members of the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers, Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Alumni Association members, the Ukrainian Shumka Dancers Foundation Committee, all other support staff, and Ukrainian dance instructors who train and prepare many Shumka hopefuls. In preparing this toast for the 60th anniversary of Shumka, I realized an ominous fact, that time is marching on silently and unrelenting. It is a great honor to have been selected to do the toast. I'm amazed that we have 6 decades of performances in many areas around the world. I'd like to share with you this anecdote of us preparing for the show at Expo 67. Eugene Zwizdetsky made a comment that in 1965 there was a Ukrainian Shumka dancers meeting called for members and interested parents in exploring the attendance of Expo 67 2 years from now. Eugene said, "My father, bless his soul, drove in from San Gudo to attend the meeting to discuss whether Shumka should go to Montreal or not. It would cost $11,000 to go, a lot of money at that time. And after hearing all the speeches of why we couldn't go, he stood up and said, 'This is so important for our youth to go to Montreal and promote Ukrainian culture to the world. I am putting $1,000 on the table. If there are 10 more of you in this room who will do this, and they believe in our youth the way I do, they will go.' By the end of the day, we were going. I will never forget the impassioned speech my father made to motivate the group. We ended up in Banshell E, August 1st to 4th. 2 shows each day. And there was standing room only when we performed. It was a beautiful, exciting time and a wonderful memory for all of us that did the show. 1990, Ukrainian tour. The impossible was overcome. The expertise of Shumka's administration had to deal with the hall contract, the transportation of dancers, costumes, stage props, sound and lighting equipment, the insurance contracts, and food for the dancers. The opportunity for Shumka members to go and tour throughout the homeland was the finest gift our group of dancers could share with the audiences in Ukraine, performing to the music created by brother Eugene Zvodetsky. In some ways, these diverse experiences endured by the 64 Shumka members of the troupe justified what Shumka has tried to do artistically over the years to preserve a heritage and communicate it in new ways. Shumka is a family that spreads its love for life through its performances. We value each Shumka member as they contribute to the whole organization. I'd like to ask my wife Ann to join me in this part of the program. All of you in attendance at this Shumka 60th virtual banquet, join my wife Ann and me to lift our glasses in a toast to the future. We wish that the leadership's guidance and dedication continues with the fervor of the past. The Shumka organization is a community endeavor, and with open decision-making and inclusion of talented youth, we ask that they continue their cultural quest for generations to come. To Shumka.
To the future, Nohai Lita. We thank Gerald Metronitz for his wonderful words and special stories this evening. To hear more from Gerald, please visit Shumka's YouTube page.
We have received another toast to Shumka's future, but through song, the beautiful voices of the Ukrainian Bundadist Chorus of North America, with whom Shumka toured the Kobzari project in 2017. Shumka and the Bundadista are working on another collaborative project this year on film, and we look forward to that. Much of Shumka's decades of artistic success have come from its collaborative nature and from its lifelong friendships with artists near and far. Now, a special treat taped pre-COVID for our initial celebration dates from the Ukrainian Bundadist Chorus.
Good evening, Shumka. The Ukrainian Bundadist Chorus is here at a rehearsal in Toronto, and we frequently think about the wonderful project we had together. Knowing that it's your 60th anniversary this year, we want to send you Nohai Lita, wishing you continued success, good health, and may your beautiful work be seen by everyone in the world. No Hairita.
Thank you to our friends of the Bandureste. So talented, and what a heartwarming performance. Now, what would a Shumka celebration be without a celebration of Hopak? It has been performed thousands of times around the world by hundreds of dancers and seen by millions of television viewers.
For presidents and queens, prime ministers and dignitaries, and perhaps most importantly, for young dancers who become inspired to be part of the whirlwind. Without further ado, Shumka. Ladies and gentlemen, Shumka's Hopak. So many memories of so many performances. We are so blessed to have been part of the world of Shumka. And like they say, it's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Very true, Nadine. There is always something pulling us back to this magical world of the whirlwind. We hope this evening brought you back to many wonderful memories and inspired you to forever remain part of Shumka. It is an honor and a privilege to be part of Shumka, and it is a lifelong family.
Before we get on the dance floor, I mean it, we have many people to thank for making this event possible. Tonight's gala sponsors, the Allard Foundation, Lexus of Edmonton, Charisse Killick and Tim Zenek, and Taste of Ukraine restaurant.
We would also like to thank all of Shumka's many donors. Shelley Borowski, Gala Chair, Les Sarita of Riverford Productions, Stephen Romano for the memorial video, Eldika Simpson, Awards Chair, Gerald Metronetz, June Eels, Marianne Baziuk and Trinity Chopik, Joshua Semchuk, Darka and Wally Tarnowski, Peter Eels, Jasmine and Alexander Taylor of the Shumka School, Ukrainian Bandurist Chorus of North America, Lyuba Manley, Irina Tarnowski, Millennia, Alberta Council for the Ukrainian Arts, Dave Gaynor for permission to use his version of Hallelujah, Helen Adhikari, and FO Photography.
Special thanks to the province of Alberta through the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, and the City of Edmonton through the Edmonton Arts Council for their ongoing support. We couldn't do it without the village of donors, volunteers, sponsors, and funders who make Shumka's operations and artistry possible. For your extra help in these difficult and uncertain times, we thank you. And I have had an update tonight that our donation page tonight has been very busy. A lot of people during this gala event tonight have taken the time to donate, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. And our donation lines will stay open tonight. Please go to the Shumka webpage.
Talking about funding and even some fundraising, I just want to slip in here that Shumka's first annual golf tournament will be taking place September 18th at the Broadmoor Golf Course. Watch the Shumka website and e-news for updates in the coming months. You won't want to miss this one.
Well, this draws our first and hopefully last virtual event to a close. Thank you, Lukian, for being a wonderful co-host with me. We thank everyone for joining in the celebration this evening and look forward to the next time we will meet. A time when we will dress to the nines, head to our beloved Jubilee Auditorium, where every theater seat will be full, to watch the live performance that has been waiting for so long to grace the stage. To our company of dancers who have been working so hard, training from home, and waiting with great anticipation to get back on that stage. We can't wait for that curtain to rise to witness the magic of Shumka as the whirlwind brings us to our feet once again. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Dobranic, good night.
Thank you, Nadine. It's been a pleasure. Now, what would a Shumka Gala celebration be without a polka around the dance floor? Move the kitchen table aside, kick off your high heels. Here is Millennia with 2 dances to top off this fun evening. Good night, everyone.
zamitaje, vítr víje, zamitaje dorožku. Vítr víje, zamitaje, vítr víje, zamitaje dorožku. Here we go! Заведився додому, я забрився, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Поїхали до Іртону, пили водку, молофону, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, а вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Так пішов на сам сотела, сам каже, ring my bell, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. And all the girls from Sulphur Creek come for kisses. Вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, вітер віє, замітає. Довго там не заведився додому, я забарився, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. And all the pretty girls from there come to meet me. Вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, вітер віє, замітає дорожку. Вітер віє, замітає, вітер віє, замітає дорожку.